And I just started like putting into practice things that people said to do. And like I said, I started with 40 followers on Facebook and Instagram. So not a lot. I didn't have a network at all by any means. I'm the only child and only grandchild. So I don't have this like huge family that I can just like get 12 cousins to sign up or something. You know, I don't have any of that. But I was like, I am just going to put these tips into place. Like they're saying that this stuff works. So why would I not do it? So I just started doing it. And when I joined, there was actually a Ruby bonus that you can get. And that was it was a $500 Ruby bonus. And at the time, my husband still didn't, or I don't think he had a job at that point. I can't remember, but that was a lot to us with no income, being in credit card debt, like not knowing how we're going to pay our rent. That was a lot to us. So I really wanted to get that Ruby bonus, but I didn't get it. I actually missed getting that bonus. And I was so devastated and discouraged because I was just like, okay, well, if I can't even get to this first step of Ruby, how am I going to go beyond that? And a lot of people who joined in the same month as me, they got that Ruby bonus. And so I was like, everybody's doing so good. Like, I think some of the girls who joined the same month as me, like went diamond, and I didn't even get the Ruby bonus. So I was like, everybody's doing so good. And I'm like failing, you know, I was just so discouraged, but I was like, you know what? I joined this as a growing experience. And if they said anybody can go to the top, like I'm just going to keep going. You know, I'm just going to trust that they know something that I don't know. And I'm not going to let like this discouragement or fear prevent me from being faithful. So I just continue to do the actions and do the things that I heard. And I remember Joel Dunn, he said on a Tips from the Top one time, he was like, if you do your steps success for 6 months, then you'll be diamond. You know, and your steps of success is signing 3 DTs and 4 customers in a month. And he said something like that. I'm paraphrasing, so I don't know how to say it the way he did, but I just heard that at the time. And I was like, okay, well, maybe I could at least sign 3 DTs and 4 LCs every month. You know, I was like, and that even seemed like a lot to me at the time. But you know, now I've like enrolled like 15 DTs in a month, but at the time I don't think I had enrolled like more than 2. So, I mean, it sounded like a lot to me, but I was like, okay, if I can at least do something little and I know that that's going to get me somewhere over time, then I can at least do that. So I started doing that. And, you know, I learned that this business is truly a numbers game. So the more people that you talk to, the more people you're going to have signing up. And there's never a shortage of people out there who want these products and who want to make money. I mean, the most Google search thing in the world is losing weight and making money. So there's not a like shortage of that out there. But I just realized that like these people that we talk to, our potentials, they don't get paid for saying yes to us, you know, but we get paid for the more that we share and the more people that we share it to. So I was like, okay, I need to talk to more people. Like I have got to just talk to more people and really do more. Like that's why I'm not being successful, is that I'm just not doing enough, you know? So it wasn't like, I think before that, I just thought it's just like predetermined that I'm either going to be successful or not. And so because I wasn't being successful, I just thought it was impossible. But I realized that it's possible for everybody. I just wasn't doing enough. So I just started doing more. I started talking to more people, I started messaging, I started posting more, I started adding new friends, you know, all those things, posting, messaging, adding, and doing more of that. So then I ended up going diamond. And at the time that I went diamond, that was like huge to me. I mean, making $1,000 from my phone, I just thought, wow, like I can't believe it, because I was on my phone before.
How long after you joined was that?
That was 6 months.
6 months. And then did you go Ruby the month before?
Either the month before or the month right before that.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I was just trying to get a time frame.
Yeah. I think it took me like 4 months to go executive. I can't remember exactly, but I think it took me like 4 months to go executive. And like I said, still all these people who I joined at the same month with were like going to double diamond and all these things, you know, and I just felt like this little slow turtle. But I was like, I'm just going to keep going. Like that's better than stopping. Where was stopping going to get me? Like it wasn't going to get me anywhere. You know, we joined because we knew we wanted to have a different financial situation. So like stopping was going to get me nowhere. So after I went diamond, and like I said, that was huge. I was like, how am I making a comment my paycheck from like literally posting messaging and friending? Like, this is like the easiest job in the world. I was like, I'm just like on my computer every day, or on my phone every day. Like, it's so much easier than like standing up at a store, anything like that. So after I went diamond, my husband, Ben, he was like, he made some comment. He was like, oh, we got this diamond bonus. And I was like, no, we didn't get this diamond bonus. I did, because you did nothing for this. And the reason I said that, and I know that, your husbands don't have to work the business, but like we got into this because he was in the mastermind. So I was like, we were supposed to be doing this together and you're not doing anything for this. And it's totally okay if your husband doesn't do anything, but I'm just saying the way we got into it was because he was supposed to be doing something. So anyway, he was like, okay, you're right. So he wasn't on social media. So he actually started doing like pop-ups, except we didn't have like all these cute little things at the time. It was very like janky and like dollar store stuff and like thrown together. And he actually even went door to door, which I'm so thankful that we don't have to do. But he was just like, trying different things and just trying to do the things. So he actually went diamond that next month. And then because we were both diamond, like it was pretty easy just get another emerald, and we were double. So we went double. But after double, it was right before conference was coming up. And I was like not barely maintaining double. And I was just so far from triple. So I was like, how am I going to go triple? Like everybody that I'd ever known in my life had either signed up, so it was like I had literally nobody left of my network since my network was so small. And it was just like so far away. I was the only person on my team working the business at the time. So I was the only one signing people at that time. And so I was just like, how is it possible for me to go triple? And I remember that Sherry, she's my upline. She said that when she was like the year before, she was on her way to conference and she got out her double diamond chart on the plane on the way to conference. And she told her sister-in-law, like, I just don't think I can go triple. Like the numbers aren't there. So I just don't think it's going to happen. And she left conference and she went triple. So I knew that going into conference that anything can happen, but I was still feeling all the fear, all the discouragement, all the this can't happen kind of vibes, So I went into conference and actually we had, at this point this was like a few months after once conference came. So we had some people from our team, some amazing people from our team at conference. And I just remember thinking like, okay, God, I need a word from you at conference about how I can go forward. I was like, I need you to speak something to me about how I can, go triple. And in my family, like $10,000 a month was like the most that people had made. And so I was also like, really feeling like, okay, well, if I go triple and I make more than this, then like I'm changing the graph in our family and everything. And so I was just like, felt so unworthy of it, but I also just felt like it's not really possible. Like my numbers aren't there, but I was just like, God, please speak some word to me. And after a session at conference, I was talking to one of the girls on our team and she was telling me about her marriage, like just a rant, how you have those like after session conversations. She was just talking about her marriage, totally unrelated to the business, but her marriage was falling apart. And she was telling me this horrible story. And she said, God changed everything quickly. And she was like, Danielle, God can change everything quickly. She was just telling her story, but those words, I was like, okay, God, you can change everything quickly in my business. And I was like, I am just going to hang on to this. So I left conference and I just did more. I mean, I just started working more, doing everything that I knew to do. I mean, like there's no secrets, like there's nothing that no one doesn't tell you, posting, messaging, following up. by just adding new friends, but I had to do way more of it, you know? So I was just like, the numbers still weren't there. That was the thing. It wasn't like I left conference and like the numbers were like the volume was already there by the time I was leaving. It was like my volume was really low and not great. And not that hadn't changed, except my faith had changed, you know? And it wasn't even that I felt like all of a sudden I can do this. I was just like choosing to hang on to that promise and choosing to put actions forth based off of that promise and speak that promise. Because if I would have gone with my emotions, then I still would have believed it wasn't possible. You know, even though I heard God can change things quickly, I still would have held on to my fear. But I was just like, no, God can change things quickly. And that month, I just worked like my hair was on fire. And even midway through the month, I was so scared to tell my upline that I even was like trying to go triple that month, because I was like, she's going to think I'm nuts. And so I told her, and she's like, I don't think it's going to happen for you this month. You're so far away. And I was like, okay. But I was like, you know what? No, I am just going to keep trying. Like I got to, I have to keep going. So I just like did all the things. And you guys, that promotion came in fully. We made no orders for that promotion. That promotion fully came in. I think the last day we needed like an insane amount of volume. I don't even know how much, but it was so much. And we were just signing, at the time we were signing system customers, you know, but we were just signing like all these like skinny pack customers, system customers, getting them in. We had extra customers at the end of the night. Our promotion came in the middle of the day, and we kept signing customers for the whole rest of the day, even after our promotion was in, because people were just ordering. And it was because I was doing so much work, you know, planting all those seeds. But if I would have like at all given myself like 1 inch of like, this could not happen, or I don't think it can, like, and I'm going to not put as much action forth, it wouldn't have happened, because it wasn't like a promotion that was just in the bag. That was like automatic. You know what I'm saying? Like people under me weren't promoting on their own, like just like doing like, I don't know, just like it wouldn't have happened. So it was like, it was literally just every ounce of faith that I had, every ounce of grit that I had to keep working. I was like, I'm just going to do it. But not only that, you guys, the next month, so we go triple, and it was the probably my promotion triple was still probably the most incredible feeling in my business, even though I've gone ambassador. But that was just so huge for me and my family. I just felt like I broke like even generational curses that had been over my mom and things like that. But I didn't want to stop there. And I think so many people, after you promote, so many times people just kind of like stop there. And I was like, I have to keep with this momentum. And so I was like, I have to go pres. Like we had one last month, or either one or two, I can't remember, 1 or 2 last months of bonuses. And so I was like, I have to go for presidential and try and get this bonus. And that was probably the most like insane thing that I could have thought to do, because I mean, our volume was like barely triple. It wasn't even maintenance triple volume. You know what I mean? So it was like we had got the volume that we needed to promote, but I didn't even have maintenance volume for triple. So thinking about going presidential, we were so far away, so beyond far away. And at the time you needed 4 legs, and I had only had 3 legs because I just went triple. So I needed a whole new diamond in 1 month. And I definitely didn't even tell people I was doing that, because I was like, they are going to definitely think that I'm nuts. And even the people on our team, like my sideline sisters, a few of us went triple the same time, and none of them were thinking of going pres. Like none of them. They were like, I'm going to maintain strong. And I was like, okay, like I'm not going to tell you my goal, because this is really like, and they had gone triple with even more volume than me. So I was like, I'm definitely not telling them my goal, because they're going to think I'm nuts. But I just worked that month, and I was like, I'm going to build a brand new diamond. So I signed the 24 DTs that we needed at the time. One of the girls that I did sign, that was one of the 24 to build a new diamond, she ended up going diamond that month in her first 30 days. And the rest of my chart still needed tons and tons and tons and tons of volume. And we just worked like crazy. We worked like crazy. And you guys, we went presidential that month. And all the volume came in. And it was so insane and so crazy, but like such a wild ride. And if I wouldn't have like thought to go presidential the month after, I mean, it definitely wouldn't have happened. Promotions don't like just happen while you're asleep, but they can happen if you're working for it. They totally can happen. And I know that from what has happened to me, So anyway, we were just working and working, and we got that bonus, and we did it. And so then after that, then came ambassador, and I really felt like I know I went triple, but like I started like doubting if I'm even worthy of going to the top of a company, because I'm just like, who am I? Like, I'm nobody. And how did I even get here? Like, I don't have a following, and I'm not like great at all these things. But, God had done so many blessings in our business, and so many things had happened, and my vision started increasing. And so, I went presidential, and then I started thinking, well, I do need to go for more, because, Ben and I, my husband and I, we go to orphanages and we help, we give. And that's what this business has allowed us to be able to do. And like, there's been so many orphanages that have called us and said like, hey, we need a few $1,000s by tomorrow. Can you give? And like, we're able to, because of this business. Before this business, we couldn't even pay our rent. So it's like, I wanted to be somebody who did big things in this world for God's kingdom. And so I wanted to be able to keep going and like to dream bigger, because I knew that if I didn't, then other people were going to miss out on blessings too. Like, it wasn't just my family, but it was other people that wouldn't get blessings, like, these orphanages and like just different ministries and stuff, and even people on our team. So anyway, we decided at a certain point, to go for ambassador. And I feel like you definitely have to decide to go for a promotion. So at a certain point, like, we decided, okay, we're actually going to go for this promotion. And we just started doing tons of host to post. Host to post blew up on our team. I have Tracy, who's on my team, and she was like the first person on our team to really do host to post. And I was like, host to post doesn't work for me. And she signed 123 customers in a month from doing it. So I was like, okay, well, it's obviously working for her. So I think I need to get on this bandwagon. And, so we started doing host to post, and just started doing all the things, host to post, posting, all kinds of stuff. But when I was going for ambassador, I got extremely sick, and we had been close for a lot of months. We were like a hair away. So then there's this next month, I'm like going for it. I'm like, okay, this is going to be the month that we definitely can make it. And I got extremely, extremely sick, like sicker than I've ever been, like for weeks at a time, was in and out of the hospital. Like, I was like on my floor throwing up, like for like weeks, like extremely, extremely ill. And I felt at the time that like God was tricking me, because I was like, how am I this close to this promotion, and I'm not even well enough to like be on my A game, So I was just like, God, are you tricking me? And like, I told my husband, Ben, I'm like, is this just not God's time for us, And Ben was like, no, this doesn't mean that it's not God's time for us. This is just Satan trying to rob us of what God's already given to us. And so he was like, it doesn't mean that this isn't our time, and it doesn't mean that we can't do this. This is really just Satan trying to rob us of what God's already said is ours. And I just remember at that moment, I was so physically ill. I didn't even care about the promotion at that point, because I was like, I am so ill. It was hard to even care about it. So I was like, I don't even know what I can do for my business right now. But I just like felt like God was like, be faithful. Like, your job is to be faithful. So I was like, I am going to do as much as I can, what I can. And so I just did that. And I just did like as much as I could of what I could do. And we were able to go ambassador. So we promoted, even while I was like on my deathbed. We were able to promote. And my husband also went presidential. And one of the girls on our team, she's this incredible little sweet little thing. She is so shy. She barely talks. But she got 10,000 in volume herself in customers that month. 10,000 in customers, like herself, not her team, but her. She actually signed 10,000 BV herself. So, I mean, we were just still working it. And up until the last minute, literally the last minute, I hate how that happens. I'm always like, the next promotion, I'm going to try and get it done like before the last minute. But I truly didn't even know, even that morning, if it was going to happen. Like we still needed probably 30,000 the last day, in certain places. And so it was just so crazy. And it was up until the last minute that our whole team was just like working. We were working. I mean, it was like crazy at our house. I was like, this isn't like, I don't want my potential seeing how crazy we are right now, because they're going to be like, I don't want to sign up to do that business. But I mean, it was totally worth it, and everything just came in that we needed. And it was just, so crazy. And so I just read Mark, at the time, we love, my husband and I love Mark Batterson's books. And I remember him saying, if you don't go all in, you'll never enter the promised land. But if you go all out, then God can part the Red Sea so you can come across on dry ground. And he was like, the greatest moments of your life will be when you went all in. And so I just remember, like, as sick as I was, and as horrible as it was, because I was sick, like, I hated my life at the time. I hated everything. I was so sick. I was just like, I still have to go all in right now. Like, I have to be faithful in what I can be faithful in, and go all in so that I can even give God a chance to do these miracles, because, he can do so much, but he does it through our hands. Like, we are supposed to be the hands and feet of Jesus, so it's like, he truly can do miracles. And that's the whole, getting back to the beginning of my story, God gave me those dreams that we were going to live in Beverly Hills, and he gave me those prophetic dreams. And when it looked like he just brought us to Beverly Hills to get fired from a job and to have all of those dreams fall apart, he was really making like our greatest dreams come true. And if Ben wouldn't have gotten fired from that job, we never would have been open to doing a business like this. We never would have said, let's be wise, let's be smart. What do smart people do? Never would we have crossed our mind. We would have been like, oh yeah, we're so great. Our life is so great. We got it all under control. But now we make 6 figures from our phone. We travel all the time. We're both retired. Everything that I journaled about, I even journaled places that I wanted to go that were so far out of our reach at the time. Everything that I've journaled about, this business has made happen. When I was journaling that homework assignment, this business has made happen. And, I was saying something, but, God is never tricking us and never keeping blessings from us. But, it does take us being willing to learn and being willing to put our hands to the task and work, and be his hands and feet. And it's not just about us. Like, you guys, like, we go to this orphanage in Mexico, and I was telling Pam, because Pam was like, you guys need to go for $1 million a month. And she's like, what would you do if you make $1 million a month? And I was telling her that there's this little girl at our orphanage, and her name is Rosa, and she's 13 years old. And Rosa has every single day of her life prayed for a mom and a dad. Every day when she goes to sleep, she prays like, somebody will want me and somebody will want to be my parent. And she's never gotten that basic need, that basic prayer request, that basic thing that's like we're usually born with. She's never gotten that. But I was saying, Rosa, what do you want to be when you grow up? And she was like, they call me Daniela at the orphanage. And she's like, Daniela, I want to go to art school in Paris. And I was like, how is this precious little angel who's never gotten a mom and a dad, something she prays for every day, like actually dreaming of going to art school in Paris, and so many times we feel like we can't even dream because we're discouraged. I'm like, this poor little thing has like never even gotten a mom and a dad, and she's dreaming big, like these dreams that no one in her town, in her society are thinking about going to art school in Paris. That's crazy, And I was just like, I want to be able to pay for her to go to art school in Paris. I want to be able to give her an apartment in Paris and like be like, honey, we'll pay for everything. We'll be your mom and your dad and do all the mom and dad things, and that's why I keep going and want to keep going, because I know that if I don't, no one else is going to pay for Rosa to go to art school in Paris, like no one's going to think that that's important. And I just have so many dreams on my heart like that not only has it helped our family, but, you know, I feel like that scripture verse in Isaiah, like when God's like, whom shall I send and who will go for me? I feel like he's like looking down on our generation and saying like, who will work hard so that I can use you to bless others? You know, like who loves me and who's willing to do the work to make money so that I can use you as my hands and feet and I can use you to give to others. And I feel like so much of this business is honestly not these big crazy things that you have to learn, even then going door to door. Like that's like not what we do, you know? But it's just such simple things that we have to be faithful in. And are we being faithful in them? You know, like when we were going for ambassador, it was Hostos. And I didn't feel like doing Hostos every day. I didn't feel like doing that. But Hostos is I feel like truly the number one practical way that we went ambassador, you know? So it's like, it's just about being faithful and doing those things that you don't maybe not feel like doing, or maybe even feel like if I do them, is this going to get me anywhere? Like how many of you thought that, well, even if I post, is that going to even get me anywhere? Or even if I get one customer, is that going to even get me anywhere? But it does. Like this business compounds. You know, I never, ever thought that I would look at a chart and have hundreds of people on it when my network was like 8 people. You know, I never could have seen all these people on this chart. And somebody gave us a prophecy and they said, they didn't know the business that we did, but they said like, I see you doing this business and like having like these legs under you, like an octopus. Like they were like kind of describing what a chart looks like. And they were like, you know, God is going to like increase your numbers. And they didn't even know what we did, but you know, it's just so true that God can increase our numbers. And this is a scripture that I shared actually at our dinner in Boston, the VIP dinner, that I want to share with you guys really quick because somebody told us that God had given them the scripture for our team and our company. And it's Leviticus 26:9. And it says, I will look on you with favor and make you fruitful and increase your numbers, and I will keep my covenant with you. And it's just so true, you know, that God can do so much in this business. And it's just really so much about our small acts of faithfulness every single day, and not counting yourself out and not saying, well, it's just not going to matter if I don't do this. It's not going to matter if I don't do this. It all matters. It all matters. It's all going to get you that much closer, that much quicker, you know? So like sign all the LCs and get all the volume and do all the things, because every day of it matters. Like I sit here now, we just went to Greece, we just went to Italy, you know, we like get to do so many incredible things. And I thank myself that the 3 years ago Danielle was actually doing all the things every day and that I didn't quit, because so many people, even those girls who went Ruby, remember when I said I couldn't go Ruby and there was people I signed up with at the same time who were going Diamond, some of them have quit the business. And I was the one who missed my bonus and who couldn't even go executive while they were promoting to Diamond. And now I'm in the top 100 of the company and they quit and they're like struggling for money, you know? So it's like, this business is such a blessing, and it's all about continuing to do every single day. How can you be more faithful? How can you do a little bit more for your business? And I always ask myself, I'm like, okay, well, if I was one of my DTs and like, say somebody said something discouraging, or somebody said they were going to sign up and they didn't, or any little thing that could get you discouraged, I'm like, how would I want one of my distributors to handle this? Like, would I would want them to get discouraged and then be like, well, I can't hit my goal? No, I want them to still run full force for their goal, because I know it can happen. So it's like, that's who I want to be every day, you know?
I love
So
that.
I just try and do those things, but that's my story.
I love that. It's so good. It's so good. It's so crazy. How it all, like everything came together for you. So first question I want to ask is, did they ever like, whatever happened with your sickness?
So it was a bacteria, kind of like E. coli. So I don't, after they found out what it was, like I was able to get on antibiotics and get rid of it. It can come back, like after you get it, within the year after you have it, it can come back. So I have to get tested for and everything. But right now I'm feeling much better. I don't have that sickness. I feel like I'm still like kind of exhausted just from being sick for so long. So I feel like I'm getting my energy back up. But the products really have helped me with that. The chocolate greens have helped me so much feel better. But yeah, I'm not sick anymore with
Yeah.
that bacteria.
So how long were you sick?
Um, I I was sick from conference. I actually didn't have the bacteria at conference, but I got sick at conference. And because my immune system was down from getting sick, that's how I got the bacteria. So I was sick from conference up until June. So I was sick for literally months, like
My
months.
Well, I'm gonna be praying for you that you don't like that when you get tested, everything is clear. That's all out of your system.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay. So my next question is what do you make sure that you get done every day? Like what is it that, I mean, obviously I think when anybody does this full time, like when you ask like what does your day look like, it's kind of a joke because no day looks the same. Like at least for me, it's like, well, what I did yesterday or what I did today is not going to be what I did tomorrow. But what are some things that you just make sure that you get done and kind of habits that you had to develop? Because I think that that's something that is very underrated. It's like, okay, we can say we're supposed to do all those things, but what are some habits that you had to develop in order to actually get those things done?
Yeah. So, okay. So as far as habits, first, I made a checklist of things that I knew I needed to get done in my business because I do now work from home full time. So I started feeling like I just wouldn't know what to do next. Like I would just sit down and work and I would never know what to do. And there were so many things that I was kind of like overwhelmed. And so then I wouldn't get anything done. So what I did was I made a checklist and I put it in every room of my house. So even my girls on my team, they came to visit me. Like it was literally like I have one on my nightstand in my kitchen. I had a poster board at it in my bathroom just so that if I was in any room of the house, I could look at what have I not done and I could easily know like a next thing to do. So that I was never feeling like I don't know what to do next. And yeah, one of the girls on my team, she's on here. And yeah, she came to my house and she like even took a picture of it because I try not I try to not leave my house unless certain things on the list are done. And I know if you're a mom, that's kind of difficult because you have to go bring your kids to school. But the girl who I was saying got 10,000 in volume in 1 month. She worked a full-time job when she did that. So even like these things are things that truly anybody can do. But okay, so what is on my checklist? Number one is posting, obviously. If you're in the business and that's number one. But posting on Facebook, I try and post a before and after every single day. So anyway, posting, how I post is, everybody probably has their method of how they post to get people signed up. But number one is posting. Number two, at this point, is host to post. So getting up host to post every single day, whether that's like posting if y'all do giveaways or messaging, asking people to host to post for you. But getting up host to post every single day is probably like the number two most important thing for my business. I would say number one is posting. Number two is host to post. Number three, like following up. I've had different systems of following up. I feel like honestly, the one that works the best for me is just writing everybody's name who I talk to on a piece of paper and keeping it in my purse and keeping it like somewhere close to me and just like a hard piece of paper so that when the deals come out, I have those lists ready to go. But actually, Janelle on my team, she taught me that you can search in Messenger. So you can like search for like websites. So everybody that you've mentioned, like business or something, you can search in Messenger and it will pull up everybody that you've talked to. So like that is an easy way to follow up. But I feel like when I am doing, like I'm writing everybody's names on the papers, I feel like that's when I sign the most people. Posting, Hostos, following up. 4 at this point is at the time, like I was going faster, it was like talking, and probably the months before it was talking to my newbies. I tried to talk to them every day. So like, I have been a higher enroller at this point in my business. At the beginning, I was definitely a very not high enroller, but I've learned how to enroll a lot. So I would realize that like it had been weeks since I talked to somebody. So I wrote it on my checklist to talk to my newbies every single day. So I would try and say, hey girl, do you want to post? Hey girl, how's it going? Those things. So that was on my checklist too. If you're new to the business, then, you know, you don't have to worry about that. But for me, that was something that I have on my checklist. And posting, Hostos, following up, and, you know, talking to my newbies. And that's really like the core of my checklist. At this point, there's other things that I do. Like there's things that certain days of the month that we always do. Giving people their charts, seeing who needs to be commission qualified, like those types of things as a leader. But I mean, that was really just like my in general checklist. Oh, and Instagram and Facebook stories. I forgot that one. So I do that as well. But I'm not like a great at making them or anything. If I try to make them, they look horrible. So, I mean, I just get somebody on my team who does great at them. And like, one of Janelle, she sent me one today. She's like, here, you can post this on your Instagram story. Because I'm just not creative. But those are the main things. So like, as I've said, that's not crazy, guys. Like, it's so easy to do those things. I feel like some people have asked me like, what did you do? And I'm like, these are things I did. And they're like, that's it. Like, they think that it's like, that's it. But I'm like, yeah, but I'm just trying to do as much of this as I can. Oh, wait, no, I forgot. 6. I don't have my checklist in front of me. 6 was adding new people to my network. So adding friends on Facebook, I started with 40 and I got to 5,000 friends. So now I'm always at 5,000. And following people on Instagram so that they follow you back. So adding to your network, that's extremely important, because for me, I didn't have a big network. So 98% of my team has come from me adding to my network, like people I didn't know before the business. So just from adding to my network. So those are just the core things that are on my checklist.
I love that. And I think it just goes to show, like, it really is just the simplicity of our businesses. It's not everybody that asks that question too, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
The same thing. And I think that sometimes people just need to hear, like, holy crap, it really is that simple. And understanding that it's just about getting it done. And like you said, doing more of it.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say to somebody who is just discouraged? Maybe they had a vision, maybe they've lost the vision, maybe they feel like, you know, this is just a tough season. Maybe they think, you know, I don't know how I'm going to get through the holidays, or whatever the case might be. What is like your best encouragement for somebody who's in that space, or just feels like they're so far from promotion, since you've been in that position before? Because I do think that, like, people will label themselves like in a rut, and then that only makes the rut deeper. So what's your best advice for that?
My best advice is that honestly, you can go from feeling in a rut to feeling on fire in 60 seconds. And it's really, and I know what it feels like. I have been there at multiple times in my business. Even in going ambassador, there were so many months that I was close and we weren't making it. So I was even discouraged then, you know? But, and even before that, like I said, in going Ruby, I was discouraged. I was like, you know, there's so many times that I felt that. I don't know if you can be successful and not feel that way at times. So I feel like if you're feeling that and wondering, like, does this mean in and of itself that I'm just not cut out for this? Then that's not true. Like, it means that you are cut out for it because you're just doing the work. So like, it's just a natural progression of working this business. But I mean, I will just say you just can't let Satan tell you lies. Like, you just have to recognize that if there's fear, and if there's those doubts, and if there's like that, you know, feeling, you just have to recognize that God says that I can't remember the scripture now. My husband's always he's the green of the family, so he knows all the references. But it's like, you know, God's not a God of fear. He's not a God of discouragement. I was even reading, and let me see if it's in somewhere. I was even reading this one devotional that said, it talks about the verse, do not be weary in doing well. And it was saying that in the Greek word for this, it was saying that weariness meant to give in to evil. And so the devotional was talking about how if we're just like living in that like, weary and stuck, that can be a form of even giving into evil. And I was like, oh my gosh, like that just really hit me, because I was like, I don't want to be giving into that. And I think we just have to recognize that we're giving into it, that it is a choice. It's not just like, oh, your business is just bad and there's no way to make it better. I think that's the most amazing thing about the business, but it's also the hard thing about the business, because it is on you, but it's the most amazing thing is that you can change your business in literally 60 seconds, and so quickly you can change your business. And for me, it's just all about dreaming bigger. I feel like there's been so many times where dreaming bigger has and like focusing on my dreams and where I'm going and speaking that out, just like I was saying at the beginning, speaking it out, declaring, because we were talking recently with somebody about how our words have power. So the enemy tries to keep us from speaking it, because he knows as soon as we speak something, there's power in what we speak. So it's just like speaking where you want to go. Speak, where you're going. Have that vision for where you're going, and put the action forth, no matter what you feel. If you feel like the action's not going to make a difference, put the action forth. If you feel like, you're discouraged, put the action forth. And if you feel like you're doing great, put the action forth. So much of this business is just about being faithful to put that action forth and speaking it. And I know what it feels like to feel like you're failing. And I know what it feels like to feel like you're discouraged. I've been there, but I'm also on the opposite side. And, I didn't have like this crystal ball knowing that it would be worth it, but I trusted the people that were in a place that I wanted to be in. And so I think you just have to ask yourself, who are you going to trust? Your fears? Or are you going to trust people who are in a place that you want to be in a place that you would want to trade places with? Are you going to trust your fears or your faith? And people thought Noah was crazy too, but look at what happened. He saved his family and generations. So it's like, I would rather be Noah than be the people who were flooded and died. So it's just really speaking that and putting the actions forth. And if you need quick cash, get those fast start bonuses. You can get a fast start bonus like that. Everybody can sign a DT. I mean, I'll tell you guys this really quick story. There was one night that I was determined to sign a distributor, and I didn't have many people in my network, but I was like, I can't go to sleep without signing a distributor, because I was like, there has to be somebody out there tonight that needs extra income. And it was just like a personal thing that I was just like decided to do that night. So I was like, I'm just going to continue messaging until somebody tells me yes. So I'm messaging on Instagram, and at this point it's like 2 a.m. because I hadn't signed somebody. And I was like, am I just going to be discouraged and not sign anybody? I was like, no, I have to sign somebody. So I messaged like a few more people, and this girl who I never talked to in my life messages back, and she says, I was on my hands and knees earlier today. She was a customer of It Works, but the person she had signed up with as a customer quit the business. So she didn't have like anybody to help her with her customer orders or anything, but she had gotten such great product results with the products. And she prayed that day. She said, God, these products work so good. I want to do this business, but I don't have anybody to do this business with, because the girl she had signed up with as a customer had quit. So she's like, please send me somebody that I can do this business with, because I really want to do this business. That night, I messaged her because I was determined to sign somebody that night. And had I not been determined, I wouldn't have signed anybody that night. And I wouldn't have even been messaging that long, you know what I mean? But she signed up right away, you guys, right away, because she had been on her hands and knees praying earlier that day. And I was the answer to her prayer. So there's always somebody out there who needs you and who needs this business more than you even need them, and somebody that you can help. If you are doing the things and being faithful. But also I want to also say, get with your upline, because if you are discouraged and you are feeling like you want to go farther and faster, ask them, because I'm not your upline. So I don't know the like details of your business, but they will, Kelsey will know exactly what you can do, so if you just say, I actually have a lady who joined me in May, and she went double diamond. in September, I think. And when she signed up, she said, I want you to tell me everything to do and I'm going to do it. And to this day, she still asks me, tell me what to do and I will do it. And she does it. That's why she went double diamond, you know? So it's like, ask your upline, tell me what to do and be open to actually doing it. And you will get out of that situation, because I promise you, you may think that you know what they're going to say, but you probably don't if you haven't outright asked them. So just, even if you think you know what they're going to say, ask them, hey, what do I do? And they're going to be able to give you something that's going to help. But I just want to say that miracles can happen so quickly in your business. Try not to let fear take over. If you're fearful, go do something. Go send a message. If you're focusing on somebody else, you're going to get past those fears and that stuckness, because you can live this business so excited. There's miracles that are happening so often in this business. For me now, there's miracles that are happening and I'm excited and I'm so thankful. And so you can always just change that perspective and go from feeling stuck to feeling like you're living, seeing miracles in 60 seconds.
I love that so much. And I just want to touch on what you said, because I think it's so important, you know, speaking life into your business, because life and death is in the power of the tongue. And this is something he mentions in that sermon, but he said, you know, life and death is in the power of the tongue. It's not in the power of the mind. And so you can try to think positive thoughts, but if you don't speak positively, you're not defeating any negative thoughts. And
Yeah.
so I think so often people are like, well, I think really positive, but you're not speaking it. You're not telling anybody about it, especially in a business like this where it can get very lonely behind the phone and behind the screen. And if you're not actually talking to anybody and you're just typing those dreams, or you're just thinking those things, like, you're not casting out the other things. And so I encourage you guys, like, get in front of the mirror, like, no matter how awkward you feel, like, you can really claim some crazy things. And I did something similar, you know, not from writing my 6 list or my task list everywhere, but I just got a dry erase marker and started writing my goals, like on my refrigerator, on my bathroom mirror, in different places that I would see it. And then, but getting into the habit, and this is something I'm still working on, you guys, and it's a journey, and just learn how to give yourself grace. That's something that I've really had to learn this year, is just understanding, like, I can't do every single thing that I want to do. I mean, my to-do list would be 700 pages long for one day. Really, I had to take a week to get it done. But the reality of it is, grace is something that is extended to us every day. And if we want to become more like Jesus, we have to learn how to extend it to ourselves as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to touch on that, because that it's so important to understand the power of speaking things, and thinking it is not enough. Okay, start speaking it and see how things change in your business and just in your life in general. Danielle, if you don't mind, I normally close this out in prayer, but I would love if you would just pray over everybody. And I just think that would be so cool, if you don't mind. If you do, I can.
Yeah, no, of course.
Okay.
God, thank you so much for this time together. And thank you so much that before the foundations of the world, you knew that we would all be on this Zoom tonight together, that we would all be in this business, that we would meet and get to connect for such a time as this. And I just ask of you right now that you give people a vision so clear in their hearts of where this business can take them and where they're going, just like you even gave me prophetic dreams that we would live where we live now, that you would just give people such a clear vision, that you would do things in their life, in their heart, in their families, that you would use them to break generational curses for their family, that you would say, no more poverty. Like, this family is not going to be stricken with poverty, but that you would just unleash blessings in their life, and do so much in their families, and that they would be able to look back and say, clearly this was you, and give you all the glory for what you have done, just like my husband and I have seen you do in our lives. And I just ask right now that you would just specifically the people who are on here and the people on my team and Kelsey's team who aren't on here, that you would just prepare in their hearts right now so much of what you want to do this month, next month, and the next coming months, and where you want to take them in this business. And we just thank you so much. And we just pray that you would rise up leaders who do want to make money so that they can give more to you, and that you would just bless them abundantly. And we just come together and declare that we are victors through you, and that Satan does not have a foothold. And although he tries and forms weapons against us, you say they will not prosper. And so whatever weapons have tried to be formed against anybody on here of fear and doubt and insecurity and anything that tries to make them feel like they are not successful or can't be successful or not enough, that we just put an end to that tonight and just say, no more to that. And that you would just infuse everybody with your love, and your vision that you have for them, because we know that we can't outdream you. So as much as our dreams seem impossible, your dreams are even so much higher than those for us. And so we just give you all the glory for this time together. And we thank you so much for what you're doing. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you so much. I am so grateful for this time that we've had together. And I just want to, specifically also just pray for your business and just let you know like how valuable this time was and that we don't take it lightly. So thank you so much. And thanks everybody for hopping on. Bye guys.
Bye.